Hi Soul Fam, how are ya? I know it's been a minute since I've been on here, but I wanted to share an experience that I had shortly after the US had bombed Iran. Now, there have been lots of things happening collectively. Energetically, we are going through a very charged time period. The summer solstice just happened. We know that's a huge jump in our collective energy as well as planetary. Astrologically, we were moving through the Cancer season, which is an emotional energy charge as well. And there's a new star that's showing up in our night sky, a supernova that we can see with our naked eye in the night sky. So lots of things happening. The numerology is all there. It's explaining to you that a lot of things are being brought to its end, and we are going through this collective ringing out, if you will. So I wanted to share this experience that I had because I think it may provide you insight to what's kind of happening. Although for many of you, it could just be a fun story to hear. So basically, the day after the US had bombed Iran, in the morning here in the northeast of the United States, there was a thunderstorm that ran through us, and I could hear the rain, I could hear the thunder, and seeing bits of flash of lightning while I was laying in bed. I woke up in the morning to get up for the day and noticed and discovered that our central AC unit was not working. The control panels had no power going to it. So I had to go down to the basement where the electrical panel was and notice that the breaker had been switched off for this particular thing. And what I did was just have to switch it back and switch it forward, right? Flip the switch, if you will. And then everything was working fine and normal as it always has been, right? It took me about an hour and a half later to actually have this epiphany of what was presented to me in my experience. And I think this may be useful for a lot of you. So what I feel was the message in my experience, because I don't believe in coincidences, as many of you who are listening to this don't believe in coincidences, that the collective, metaphorically, the storm that we are collectively going through right now, what we're seeing is the stories, the news, whatever that's being projected out right now, blah, 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 all that stuff, is really kind of like this distraction that's happening, right? It's just what we're being reflected on the outside that's happening collectively within us individually as well. And behind the scenes, what actually feels like it's happening is this sense of something had to be reset. We had to reset something, and that the breaker, if you will, had been switched off, and then it is being, or it has been flipped back on. So something was being flipped on, or the switch was being flipped on. And I mentioned this kind of metaphor in a vision that I shared on here a little bit earlier in the year with regards to a vision I had about being in an auto body shop and taking my car in, and then that the car no longer had the parts being manufactured and the car just wouldn't run anymore. And then I was taken to this image of this Jeep, right? The Jeep, to me, kind of reflecting metaphorically what the US is because of the Jeep, right? And that the Jeep looked brand new, interior, exterior, new technology. In fact, it didn't even look like a Jeep anymore. It was something brand new. That in line kind of feels with what this experience I had recently with regards to the storm, with regards to what happened collectively, and having to flip the switch on. We are experiencing this projected storm that's out in the collective right now via the news, via the global stage. But behind the scenes, what's happening is something new has come in, and basically it's been flipped on somehow. I don't know what it is. Maybe it happens to do with what we can see on a governmental, we can see like regime changes. There's protesting, all sorts of stuff. And whether it be governmental, whether it be financial, I think financial is where it feels like there's something has been switched, and we're seeing this thing kind of play out in real time. But what a lot of us are distracted on is on this storm, this collective storm that we're going through. So I want you to have a bit of optimism as we move through this, because what you think you're seeing collectively is all this bad fear, distraction, etc. But behind the scenes, there are things happening that something has been switched on for us. And I think it's going to be for our highest good as we go forward, kind of in line with that vision I had around the Jeep. So take it for what it is. If it sits with you, great. If it doesn't, I hope you enjoyed that little story. I'll talk to you soon. I love you. Bye.